I accidentally started without y'all. I messed up. Not really. I was unboxing this, recording a second ago, and I accidentally showed addresses. So I started and stopped over because I really didn't want to have to edit that. So now let's pull this out. I already pulled this out, which was just an invoice. This is not why you're here. I know you see these in the thumbnail. We'll get to talking about those in a minute. I just wanted to show these. Yep. 2-click coral vert here to get tumbled. So sent in from a viewer and friend on Facebook. Pretty cool. Thanks, man. Sent it to me disassembled, so I had less work to do. Totally down for that. Now on to the pillars. Ryan, thank you for letting me try these out. And thank you for letting me keep this one. We worked out a deal, some trades, and I did some work for him, and I honestly don't even remember how our trade ended up. I'm gonna have to go back and look at that. But I wanted to keep this one, but after refinishing it for him, which was going to be part of our original deal, he decided he wanted to keep it, and I don't blame him. It did have a really ugly end on it. It looked like one end had been sanded with a really rough sandpaper to try to maybe balance it or something, and it was close, but that sanded side was still a little bit heavy. So I offered to sand, balance, and tumble it for him and match the titanium buttons. This one does not have tungsten buttons on it. Put a bearing in it for him, and well, we both fell in love with it. Like, originally I wanted it and then backed out because it seemed a little expensive. We did a lot of flip-flopping. It was pretty funny. So now after the refinishing, yeah, I totally get, Ryan, why you want to keep this thing, and it is really, really awesome. I'm really glad I get to keep this, and I'll still be on the hunt for one of these. Anyone, if you're watching, you want to sell your tungsten large pillar, please let me know. It's also got the Ultim FTO buttons with it. They're pretty cool, but I'm not a fan of plastic buttons, really. I'm just not. This size is very, very rippable. I mean, I can really get it moving. With the 1-drop bearing, it's quite pleasant. It spins very fast. It's very, very smooth. I got it very balanced for him. I'm sitting here a little shaky today. Too much coffee. But man, it's awesome. It's so comfortable and fast and has a lot of inertia. The bearing combination between the tungsten and titanium is really good. Has like very soft feedback and like just a good fluid, like tight feel. I love it. So yeah, I'm definitely trying to find one. It's great. Let me get the scale out here too. I think it's like it's like upper in the 200 something grams, like close to 300. Yeah, 263. I think with the tungsten grips on it, let's see, these would be kind of similar. So 263, 95. So I mean, you can imagine it puts it somewhere up in like the 350 range, probably. Maybe, yeah, with tungsten grips, I would put somewhere probably around 350. Man, I've got a mustache hair that keeps poking me in the nose. It's driving me crazy. I think I got it. Okay. Well, I've got the scale out. Let's weigh this behemoth. 619. Man, I think before I did work on this, it weighed either 619.8 or 620 or something. So interesting. We'll talk about that in a minute after I finish talking about this thing. So yeah, I refinished the one end, made sure it was balanced, and then tumbled it for 12 hours, the body, and then tumbled the button for like 2 hours, buttons for 2 hours. I think it's a pretty good match for being two different materials, right? Like, of course, the titanium is a little darker, but the scratch pattern matches really nicely, and I bet the tungsten will darken in time, very similar to how my edamame has. They have the same kind of finish on them. So you see how the button and the edamame really seem to match? So yeah, I think this body, once it patinas, Ryan, especially in our climate here, I think it's going to do great. Never thought I would fall in love with the pillars. It's one that I had to try before coming to any conclusion other than too big, too heavy. That's what it seems like on the screen. So now on to the Mega. I pretty much fell in love with this thing before the small one. It's just such a novelty being, it's like 1.33 pounds or something, you know, more than a pound and a quarter, 620 grams, whatever that is. And it's just, I love handing it to someone that doesn't know what they're about to receive. You know, they see it and they take it and their hand just goes honk, and like it just like falls down because they're like, what the heck? Because they're just not used to the weight of something like this, especially something this small that weighs over a pound. Like, we don't interact with things like that in our everyday life. So that's one reason I love this thing. It's just the novelty of how heavy it is. The second thing I really like about it, well, I knew I could rebalance it, especially after doing Ryan's first. I don't know. This one, the small one, was a little bit worse off. Like, it had some pretty bad scratches. This one wasn't as unbalanced and it wasn't as scratchy on one end, but it did have a very asymmetrical machine corner round from the sanded side to the machine finish side. The machine finish side had almost like it was straight and then had a bit of an edge where the radius met the flat in the corner round. And then the side that was hand sanded looked like someone got a little careless and sanded off that edge, so it was visibly asymmetrical side to side, and that drove me a little bit crazy. So being able to blend it, get it balanced, and then tumble it and give it a grippier finish, I've really fallen in love with this thing. My spin power and grip has dramatically increased. I can spin, you know, like my edamame harder than ever before because I really do use this a lot. And I mean, it's a hand workout. There's no way around it. It's so dang heavy. Even just having to hold it and how I spin, you know, like shaking this thing up and down, it's a workout just in my pinch grip. Like, I can just pinch it harder than, like, pinch my spinners harder than ever before, which gives me more confidence to grip it harder and spin it harder because I'm not going to shoot it or torque it out of my hands because I can physically pinch in my dished buttons harder, especially like a dished button thing. I put a 1-drop in this recently too, and goodness gracious, with how hard I can spin now. I mean, I'm sure there's people that can spin harder than me, but the Mega Pillar has significantly increased my hand strength and like my spin technique. I've been able to confirm that by spinning this, you know, in full sun at 30 frames a second and seeing the warp pattern. When I first got it, I could not make it change directions, as in spin fast enough to change directions in appearance with the shutter speed. Hopefully I said that simply enough. There might be a better way. But now I can make it warp. It starts slowly going left, and then it stops, and then it starts, as it's slowing down, it looks like it's spinning back to the right again. So I mean, that's full confirmation that I can spin it harder and faster, and I'm pretty sure with my other spinners I should do the same thing, go back and look at older videos, you know. So it's great to have something so heavy as a trainer. It's not something I really thought about in my collection before. Like, yes, it's not practical. It's insane being so heavy. Like, it is 5 of these or something, like 170. I'm not gonna try to do that math real quick, but it's just so much heavier than anything else, but yet I can spin it, you know. Like, I'm not hating on spinners here, but I'm just trying to think of some really heavy things I've spun in the past. There's like I think it's 2R Designs Phantom. You know, it's kind of like people said it looked like the Obsidian, or the Obsidian looked like it. They just had lines going around the big chamfers on the side. The shapes are totally different, and there was the scaly version. I'm talking about the non-scaly version. Ryan, you also had one of those. I feel like it was like 400 or 500 grams, not quite 600. But I literally could not spin that thing at all. And I don't, like, maybe if I had it for a while, like I did this thing, I could learn a technique to get it down, or I would get stronger or something. But that one actually seemed like impossible to spin, you know. This one, after one of like my first couple rips, I was kind of like, this is actually usable, like for me at least. And I mean, it really is. Like, you see how much I'm just sitting here ripping it. Like, I really play with it, I mean, a lot. Since I've had it, I mean, there's definitely not a day that goes by where I don't use it. And I definitely, anytime I've got a tray out or my case is open, this thing is out. Or like, I'll carry it around the property or the house with me and just sit it somewhere. Like, this thing, I'm getting a lot of use out of this thing. And it's kind of awesome. It really is. It's just so neat with how heavy it is and how functional it is if you're actually able to spin it and have a technique that allows you to give it rips. When I first got it too, I couldn't spin it fast enough for it to have stability balancing on one finger. Now I can also do that. That probably has something to do with me getting it more balanced also, but now it's much better one-handed and balancing on one finger. So I mean, yeah, these are the pillars. Tungsten pillars. Really cool spinner. It's a cool design. You know, it's super simple, but it's effective and it's comfortable. I mean, definitely not as pretty as an edamame, you know, but it's still a great spinner. And I'm really glad to have this, and I really want one of these. So, thanks for watching, guys. I'm going to end it here. See ya.